showed me these possibilities of what could happen, because before I wasn't really considering this as like a career or anything like that. It was kind of like, I want to see if I can do it at all. And then when I met the right people, it was kind of like, well, I guess it is possible to like actually go for it. At the time I was full time in school, I was working, I was actually just taking the summer off. And, like you said, I kind of found like a home a bit here, and was able to make this my home base and really kind of push forward with this as like my life goal. My life's working.
It's so crazy because I still know a lot of people that went to college. They do something right now. They may be making good money, but they're not happy. They kind of fell on, I say this all the time, they fell on a safety net where, that's not what life's about, to me at least. And for a lot of the fighters out there, I understand like journalism, combat sports, it's a hard thing to be successful at. You could work every day nonstop, wake up and grind. You still might not make it. You're probably working more doing this than you would at a 9-to-5,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a great point. I mean, there's really, like you said, there's no guarantees in it, but the best thing about it is that at least in that process, you can enjoy it. You'll always have that risk of, in anything in life, of will it be worth it? And it just depends if you're going to do it in a state of being happy and enjoying what you're doing, or if you're going to be kind of miserable and not too happy and still have that risk. So it's nice being in this position because I do love training. I love being out here, and I love what I do. So being able to be in that mindset, and there's always that risk of you never know how successful you'll be, but sometimes, like you said, it's not really about that. It's about enjoying that process.
It's about feeling alive. There's a lot of people that have gone through situations in life where, we could hang up the phone right now, walk outside, going to get, some dinner, and that could be the end of it. So I enjoy waking up every morning, feeling alive. And for a fighter, man, I can only imagine how that energy feels knowing that you have an upcoming fight, especially in your backyard. Does that make things a little bit more easier for you, a little more relaxed?
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually my first time fighting here in Albuquerque. But the sport, it just opened so many doors and opportunities for me, like you're saying, like just being able to really feel alive. I went to Thailand 3 times last year. So, being able to do that, I just would never thought that would have been possible. So being able to gain that experience and fight out there was great. But now that I don't actually have to travel all the way across the world to do it, and having such a big opportunity is kind of like a dream come true. Like when I started this, I started by watching Lion fight, like Kevin Ross and Timmy Van-Soest. And, those were the people, like the highlights I was watching, back then. So being able to kind of be here now and just look at that time frame is just incredible.
So yeah, man, I saw that you went over to Thailand. Is that where? Because here, let me pull everybody onto your Instagram page. There's a picture of you petting a tiger or something like that. Was that in Thailand?
Yeah, so that was in Thailand. It was actually kind of an interesting story. So I was pretty naive to the whole possibility of the tigers being drugged and and so, but it was kind of, a few of myself and some of the other fighters kind of got dragged there, I guess, by one of the triggers. It's just kind of a different culture, so we went there and it was kind of sad, but, I guess it was just, it was a cool moment though, so not to take away from, it's awesome to see tigers, but it is kind of sad that they're kind of, a bit tired, but, I guess it's hard to say because it's better, at least they're alive, it's terrible what goes on with the world. I love tigers, so. Well,
there are places out there that will help, like an injured animal get back out into the wild and stuff like that. But we've seen this here in the United States. Like, I remember going to SeaWorld, petting dolphins and seeing Shamu. It was an experience. And then a couple years later, they released this documentary. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, Blackfish.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That was so eye-opening, so scary to see that, Like, here's the thing that people don't realize is that, you look at an animal and a lot of people just look at them as an animal. For any pet owner out there, whether you have a dog, I have rats. Man, I feel closer, and I see more personality in some of the rats that I've had over the years than a lot of people, a lot of cold-hearted people out there. They're smart. They're just like us. They say that rats actually have more in common with humans than monkeys do inside their DNA. So it's sad to see sometimes.
I'm with you, man. I have 2 dogs that live with me now. I have one that lives in New York, and they're like the closest thing to me. I definitely have my friends and all that, but I don't know. I completely agree. It's like they definitely have something inside them that connects with me pretty well.
Yeah, you know what, man? I see that on your Instagram as well. You have 2 dogs? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, so I have 2 here, and then I have one that lives back at home with a close friend of mine. We used to live together, so that dog ended up staying back in New York. She's a bit older, but I have two pups here with me now, a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old.
It's so hard to be separated from, an animal like that.
Yeah, so every time I go home, I get to spend some time with her, so I get real happy about that.
Well, listen, like, this day and age, you see a lot of fighters like Rosnam Hunez that got her dog accepted to go to like fight events, go do the media obligations and stuff like that. I think that's so cool. And do you bring your dogs running with you? Do they involve with your training at all?
So, in terms of my training, they don't actually go running with me. They're actually super small. I have 2 little French bulldogs, and so they wouldn't make it too long in a run. They try to make it like half mile. We definitely go to the park sometimes, but honestly, I think I'd say the way they like assist me with my training is at the end of the day, just coming home and getting to spend time with them is probably like my therapy and my release. Just hanging out, and they're super small, but they're super loving. So it's a lot of fun to have them around.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better than coming home and being greeted by the dog. Because you know damn well, like we've been in relationships, stuff like that. Sometimes you come home after a long day and there's stress waiting for you. But with the animals, there really isn't any stress there. It's just love and companionship. So
yeah, absolutely.
So man, let's talk a little bit more about Jackson's down there. The mentality, that championship mentality that goes on there. I mean, what for people out there that aren't familiar, maybe it might be their first time, hearing of Jack, which would be surprising. But, what does Jackson's have that stands out from any other gym out there? What makes Jackson special to you?
Yeah, so, I mean, what makes Jackson, special to me is there's definitely that feel of greatness to it. They've had so many great fighters for years and years, just different generations. And some that, you look at Holly, who spent time kickboxing and boxing, and then you've got, some of the best MMA fighters in the world. John Jones, Cowboy Cerrone used to be at Jackson's, but you just have such, a long list of fighters, and that greatness just kind of is in the gym, and you kind of just see that, the possibility and the road work that it takes. So that, along with just having so many different training partners and coaches that are willing to help you get to where you want to go I guess the coolest part about it is that you see the possibilities when you're there. Before I came here, it just seemed like such a I just couldn't fathom how it could be done. It's still a lot of hard work, and don't get me wrong, by no means am I at that high level that some of these guys are, but you can definitely see the process and the work that it would take to get there. So, like I said, I think there's that feel of just kind of greatness of being in the building.
That's the other thing, man. There's so many people. Like you got to be around other people that are striving for the same thing, because there's a lot of people out there that will crash your dreams. They'll be like, "Oh, it's not possible," because they haven't seen it done before themselves. So when you put yourself in a gym like that, and there's people around you that are putting in just as much work as you are, it's eye-opening. I can only imagine how that feels, and the drive that must go behind that. It must fuel you up even more.
Yeah, it definitely does. I agree with that 100%. Just having that group of people and being pushed by everyone around you, it's almost like you're competing with your best friends, and that's what really pushes you farther. Is you have those people that have similar goals, whether in the same weight class or not, or same organization. It's just that everyone is kind of grinding in your group. You're able to surround yourself with that kind of mentality, and that pushes you further. It's honestly usually my friends are pushing me harder than some of my coaches sometimes, just because they're in that same exact mentality and grind.
So listen, man, being at a gym like that, I would only guess that, after a big fight for Holly or John, there's people outside. Does that ever happen? Do you ever see that there or no?
Like just people trying to come in the gym?
Yeah, like just trying to see, what's going on.
There's definitely sometimes people will come and visit and just try and, see what's going on. And we actually have it's set up that you can actually come and you just can't really film or take video or anything like that. But people will definitely come and visit. It's not swamped all the time. Definitely people from Albuquerque will come in, and from time to time when people come in from out of town, they'll definitely come in and try and see the place. And, we're usually always, let's see. Yeah, people come in every day, I would say.
Man, I got to yell at you for a second. I'm really kind of upset with you here because you ruined my diet today. I was looking at your Instagram, and you had a box of cookies that looked so delicious. Made my sweet tooth start go. Where'd you get those from? Those look so good.
Yeah. No, that's one thing that's good about Albuquerque, too, is that there's a lot of good food spots. So right now I'm actually getting most of my meals made from a company called Sauce, but on my off days I go pretty wild. So I went to a place called Rude Boys, which is one of my favorites. So I usually go pretty hard. My weight is usually super low. I don't really get out of shape between fights. I usually stay within 10 pounds every time. So it's just, also with that metabolism, so I have a really fast metabolism, so I can pretty much take it in after a good day of training, usually on a Saturday or Friday, and then be good to go. But yeah, no, I hear you.
Also, man, I gotta ask you, did you try your hand in mixed martial arts?
Say that one more time?
Did you ever try mixed martial arts? Did you have a career there, and why didn't you stick with that?
Well, my first fight out here was actually an MMA fight. It was in Colorado for Cage Wars. It was an MMA fight. It was 2016. And I liked it. You know, it was actually a super interesting experience. I got to go with like one of my best friends who coaches me now, and I really did enjoy it. I think before I did that, I kind of had my mind set on Muay Thai, and then I did MMA, and my mind kind of went back and forth. Like, I just kind of went the kickboxing route, and then I think once I went to Thailand, because what actually happened is I was doing more kickboxing fights to kind of help my striking in MMA, and then once I went to Thailand and got that experience, I just kind of fell in love with the sport. It's just such a different feel than MMA, and I love MMA as a fan. You know, I mean, I'm a huge fan of MMA, but in terms of like what I enjoy and the culture and vibe to it, the Muay Thai culture is definitely what stuck with me.
I say this a lot too. I mean, for new fans out there that don't understand what's going on with the groundwork, you see fans booing even still to this day. I mean, Muay Thai might be the better route for a lot of people if they're looking for entertainment, because man, I brought my 75-year-old grandfather who just had hip surgery to Lion Fight like 2 years ago. And man, he couldn't sit down. He was out of his seat the entire time, astonished at the action going on. It's an exciting sport.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think like especially the crowd for Muay Thai is like second to none. You know, like I mean, especially in Thailand, like it's so loud, it's so fun. There's really no like issues. It's such a loud and fun sport. You know, just the environment, like you said, is unlike anything. It's super entertaining on both ends always. So I mean, I love that about this sport.
Now, also for people out there that might not know, you know, what it means for a fighter to say, "I've been to Thailand." I mean, kind of explain that experience, because you know it could be brutal down there. You know.
Yeah, no, definitely. And my last trip, my third trip was actually probably the hardest, because the first two trips I had, I mean, it was, I'm trying to think, I went with a few friends the first time, and I mean, it was definitely kind of like learning what the place is like, and understanding the culture and how things went. But I mean, just being able to I mean, I trained at Yokow that first trip, so getting to meet Finchai and some really high level Thai fighters, and just kind of like seeing like the top guys was amazing. But you also see like how long and diligent these people have been doing this sport for, you know, like how good they are. And it's just such a different kind of training too. You know, a lot of times like pad holding here, there can be like a lot of breaks, but I mean, when I'm there and I'm doing pad work, it's like brutal. It's harder than the sparring, honestly. Just such a different high intensity of repetitions and just focus for when you're training out there, that you feel just so prepared. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's times that I want to crawl up in a ball during training, but I mean, it definitely gets you prepared. And you know, I think on the last trip I had my third professional fight out there. I actually lost that fight. I took a knee, but I think it was just the whole, like, trying to cope with that loss with the mentality of from how we are in the States and of it being such a big deal was just combated by what it's like out there in terms of, I mean, real Thai fighters have tons and tons of fights. You know, of course you go in there and you want to win, and that's what's important, but at the same time, the key is being able to go back and fight again. It's not just harping on this loss, you know? So it's just such an interesting idea to meet the Western culture versus like how things are out there.
And it looks like you definitely brought some of that culture home with you, even outside the fight world. I saw that we're looking at right now, you got a tattoo on your neck. They're spearing you in the throat.
Yeah. So, so 3 times I've gone out there, I've gotten Sakyan every time. So I've gone and seen Najan and kind of just pointed out like kind of some open areas, and they just put different like blessings on you, and I never really pick anything out specifically. I kind of just point to the area and just kind of let them do their thing. Like they've done my knuckles, my neck, my stomach. I mean, it's definitely a super like it's kind of like an emotional experience, you know, because it's definitely painful, but it's like you putting just so much trust into what's happening, and it's a really great experience.
Now, I gotta also ask you about the cardinal on your neck. What's the significance there with the cardinal sitting on the rose or the flower?
Yeah, so my dad is from St. Louis, so I got the cardinal for him, just kind of like the St. Louis Cardinals. I got that a few years back, and both my parents are still alive. I don't live with them, but so I kind of just have the roses for my mom. I always get my mom roses for her birthday or for a bunch of different times during the year. So I got the rose for my mom and the cardinals for my dad, just to kind of keep them like close by me, if that makes sense, and kind of looking over my shoulder. So yeah, I got that a few years back. Yeah,
you know what? Cardinals are actually a really brutal bird. They're actually kind of bullies to other birds. They'll go to nest and completely take over that area, and they're actually pretty interesting to look into, man. So
Yeah.
I gotta say, you
sure.
got some pretty impressive tattoos all on your body. So every time you go to Thailand, is that going to become like a tradition for you? Every time you go, you're going to come home with a tattoo?
I'm hoping so. I'm kind of running out of room. I mean, I've got some room in my back. I mean, but other than that, I'm getting pretty covered. I don't think I'll ever do my face, but I'm getting there. But I'd like to. So even if I do something small, I think it's just such a good experience. And yeah, I mean, I'd like to. I mean, hopefully, my plan is to go back after this fight in May for a couple months, just depending on everything. But that's my goal. So I'd definitely like to get some more done.
You say no face tattoo. Why no face tattoo? That's been a big thing.
I mean, maybe it'll grow. I mean, I don't know. It just never really took to me. Like, I just never really was a fan of how it looked. Like, it's not like I think, like, I don't know. It's hard to, I don't really have a good reason, because I mean, I said the same thing on my neck, and then I said the same thing on my knuckles, and then it just kind of happened. But, I mean, it has to be the right thing. It has to be, like, something that I saw that I'd be like, wow, that's what I want, Yeah. So, who knows? It could happen.
So, I got 2 more questions for you before we end this interview, man. And the last question is going to be about the fight coming up. But my next question is, are you a Conor McGregor fan? I saw you in a photo with a Conor McGregor painting. Was that a joke, or are you really a McGregor fan?
Oh, I definitely am a McGregor fan, but that particular picture was kind of just like a joke. I went with a friend of mine who actually helps me train out here, Will Santiago. He was on the Contender Series, and they took us. We were in the UFC Performance Institute, and they had this picture of Conor McGregor. It was the Conor McGregor room, so I kind of just took that picture just to kind of be funny when I said I'm #1 fan. And but no, I definitely am a fan.
They have a Conor McGregor room there?
Not like a mega fan.
There's a McGregor room at the Performance Institute?
Yeah, there's like all different kinds of rooms. But yeah, there was one room that was kind of had some pictures of him in it. It was really cool. So
do you think they're going to book the fight with him and Cowboy, and do you think it should be a main event? Because I do.
Yeah, I mean, I think one should book it, and it should be a main event. I mean, from and I could be wrong because I'm not always up to date with it, but I heard that it would be on the same card as the next DC fight, and I think that would be a bigger fight. I mean, I would like to see that as a main event. I mean, I think that's the fight to make. So I would personally do whatever it takes to make that fight.
I mean, whether people love or hate Conor, whether people love or hate Ronda, you got to look at what they've done for the sport and why they were special. And there's so many people out there. When I say people, I mean fans. And when I say fans, I mean haters that like to jump on board at one moment, then they go through a hard time, they jump off, they ridicule the fighter. And I'm really sick of that, man. So it's nice to see people out there supporting a fighter for what they've done. And, every time Conor shows his face, it's helping our sport grow. So, everybody out there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fans can be really brutal. 100%. So my last question for you here is, what can we expect when we tune in to watch your fight at Lion Fight 54? What are you going to bring to the table that makes you stand out?
Yeah, so I'm super excited for this fight, and it's going to be super exciting. So I'm going to be going forward the whole time and just trying to get it done as quickly as I can, but just being exciting the whole way. So if you want some high action, then this is going to be the fight to watch.
I think there's 3 title fights on this card. Is there 3? 2?
Yeah, and I think even though those are for the title, I mean, for me, this is like a make or break fight, just because, I mean, anytime you fight for an organization like this, there's always that talk of like future fight contracts, So for me, it's like this is my time to shine and show that I deserve that contract and that I should fight for Lion Fight in the future. So I'm going all out. I'm training as hard as I can and ready to go. So I not only do I want to win, but I want to put on a performance that people remember.
Scott Kent, Scott Zur, they do such a great job over there, and it's so amazing to see them on a network television. So I could tell my family and friends, tune in. Like, this is going to be so exciting to watch. Because like I said at the beginning of the interview, there's a lot of people out there that it's hard for them to get into mixed martial arts if they don't know what's going on when it goes to the ground. So Lion Fight always does a great job. My last question here, what do you know about your opponent? Do you look into your opponent or no?
So when I got the opponent, I pretty much sent it to one of my coaches and said, just take a look. If you think it's a good fight, then we'll go with it. I don't really need to take a look. And it wasn't like as a disrespect to my opponent. It's more of like I just trust my coaches to look for the right things. So as soon as I sent him, he goes, yep, it's a good matchup. We'll do it. I've never met him. I've heard that he's definitely a tough guy. He comes forward and that he's durable. Like he's going to bring it, So I think that's what makes this an exciting fight is that he's definitely not going to back down. And we seem to have similar goals. We're both in want of this future contract with Lion Fight. So I know that he trains at he has his own gym actually here in Albuquerque. But yeah, I've heard from a few of my friends that actually know him that he's definitely a tough guy and loves the sport of Muay Thai. So I think that's what kind of made me more excited, is sometimes you'll get those fights where there's a crossover from an MMA guy that's going into Muay Thai. So it turns into more of like an MMA striking fight, if that makes sense. But from what I'm hearing, it'll be more of two Muay Thai fighters, which is what is exciting to me. I love Muay Thai style, and I think we both will definitely have some crafty striking. And yeah, I mean, I want a good fight, so I'm very excited for that.
It's so
and
genius.
I'm excited for yeah. So for that fight, and then I'm really grateful that actually Al with Iron Shin Muay Thai.
Shout out to Al.
Helping me get this interview together, and he's been helping me with the whole lion fight thing for a while. So I'm just really happy it's coming together, and can't wait.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is the last thing I want to say really quick, is that lion fight going down to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I can only picture the atmosphere and the energy there, because that's pretty much the fight capital of the world outside of Vegas, Albuquerque, New Mexico. I mean, everyone there is pretty much a fighter, you know. So that should be a really fun event. Do you have tickets for people that want to reach out and come to this event?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have tickets, so you can message me on Instagram, Marc Entenberg. And then something that's nice about the tickets that we're doing for this fight is that all the proceeds that when you purchase a ticket in terms of my commission are all going to a charity here in Albuquerque, a local nonprofit called Adaptive MMA, working with special needs kids, teaching them mixed martial arts. So you could definitely make a difference when you buy a ticket, so you can support a good cause and come see an awesome show.
Wait, hold on a second. Did Diego put that together? Because I saw Diego doing something like that last year.
So yeah, it's the same organization. He didn't put this one together, so I've actually been a coach for them since the organization started. So it's kind of just an idea I had to, just do something to help the program and just, just do something good. So I talked to Jeremy Tremko, who's one of the guys who's putting the fights together here with Scott, and I told him that something I'd like to do was donate my commissions to Adaptive. So that's something that we're doing to help the program, and a bunch of our students are going to be there, the coaches will be there, so it's going to be a good event to come to, so you'll get to see a good show. And like I said, so pretty much when you buy a ticket from me, any of that commission proceed that would normally go to me will go straight to the program.
That is awesome, Mark. Last but not least, this is what we like to do here. I hand the imaginary microphone over to you. If you have any shout-outs, sponsors, social media tags, the floor is now all yours.
Yeah, sure. No, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on. Al Rodriguez with Iron Shin Promotions for getting me on and helping me so much with this. It's been great. Sauce Albuquerque for doing my meals, Performance Ranch, Wolf Brigade Gym, Jackson's, Macama, Wolf, I think I already said Wolf Brigade Gym, and then all my coaches and people have been helping me out. And I'm really excited. I'm excited to put on a good show. And I actually forgot one person, Dr. Shar at Elite OSM. She's been putting me together, making sure that my body's ready for this fight. So I have a lot of people to thank for it, and I'm really excited. It's going to be a good show.
Marc Entenberg, everybody. Mark, I want to thank you so much. I want to wish you best of skill. Where can people find you on social media? Instagram? Where can they find you?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Instagram, so it's Marcavelli. I think I just got to actually check this spelling.
It's MarcAvelli. I have it up on screen.
MarcAvelli. I tried to get it with just the C, but I had to do it a little bit differently. And then on Facebook, it'll be Marc MRC, J middle initial, and then Entenberg, Entenberg.
Mark, I want to thank you so much. Best of skill. We'll be tuning in for the fight, and we wish you best of luck, man. God bless.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
There you guys go. Marc Entenberg joining us here, and you guys can tune in. I will have the information down below. Line Fight always puts on amazing cards. You don't want to miss it, because it used to be on Access TV. Then it went to Flow Combat, but now I believe it's on NBC. I gotta double check that, but just amazing how far they've come in the last couple of years, and I've been following them for I think 4 years now, covering their actual events, going to the events, and it's a blast, man. It's so much fun. The fights that they put on, it's something else. Some of the best performances I've ever seen. I even did Fight Companions, so if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, follow me on YouTube at youtube.com/Pure EVil MMA. You can scroll down to one of the sections here called A Real Fight Companion, and you can see what it's like to go to an actual line fight event. It's It's something else, man. It really is. And I want to thank Marc. I want to thank Al Rodriguez for hooking this interview up. We got a lot of content coming for you guys. I am going to be doing the recap from last night's action in just a little bit here on Pure EVil MMA. If you're listening on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Player FM, wherever you are, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe down below here. Pure EVil MMA. Last but not least, guys, I'm Evil Eddie from PureEvilMMA.com. White knuckles till the end. And remember, without evil, there's no purity. Behave yourselves.